I think Chopin is in me, at the very beginning. I think uh, I just always feel very comfortable with Chopin's music. I think Bach, I have to learn. I have to really learn to appreciate, learn to understand, to interpret. For Beethoven, yes, I do. I have to learn it. I have to study it. Brahms, I have to study it. Um, Even for Liszt, I have to study it. But Chopin is just so natural. I guess it's just very close to me. Besides my nature and my personality, I think I'm influenced by the recordings of the old masters, and by the way, also the live concerts of a few great old masters, from the golden age. I heard 7 concerts of Tchaikovsky in the 90s, which were big revelations for my music understanding, especially in the romantic playing. Um, and of course, I heard the recordings of Cortot, Ignaz Friedman, Moisevich. Uh, I heard recordings of Marila Jonas, a great Polish pianist. So people from that generation. Uh, and by the way, Solomon Mikulski was a great advocate of that style of playing. A lot of his students uh, bear that kind of charisma and color in their performances. I mean, of course, I mean he doesn't force this to all his students, but then whoever he sees has this innate sensitivity, let's say, or special sensitivity. He would develop it, uh, which I really appreciated very much because he's not a so-called the practical educator that teaches you a very common, well accepted style that so you can win competitions. His students are all different uh, personalities, styles. So I was fortunate that I guess most of my Chopin playing or the style of my Chopin playing were developed and matured during Solomon's class. During that 6 years, I played a lot of Chopin. I went to Chopin competition. I didn't go to the third round, uh, but then I got some reviewer in Poland says that my playing reminds them of Joseph Hoffman and Ignaz Friedman. I thought that's the highest compliment that you can get when you're when you play Chopin. I think apart from my personality and my influence with the old recordings and Solomon, I think the Chinese culture has a lot to do, has a lot in common with Polish characteristic somehow. Because when I landed in Poland, in '95, I went there for the competition. Somehow Polish people are very warm uh, and has a little bit of this modesty, has a sort of very uh, almost self-doubting quality in themselves, which is for me uh, is very Chinese. This modesty, sensitivity, um, and warmth, and not so confident, which is I found very beautiful. In New York, I don't find that. In New York, people are very rough. They all think they're lists, but but in Warsaw, you feel Chopin in it. Chopin's phrasing has a lot to do, even structurally, with, or let's say, a lot in common with Chinese poetry from Tang Dynasty. You must know that the four phrase, very balanced, But in the third phrase, it's always a change. So there's always a turn on the third phrase. 起承转合. So you start the first phrase, and then the second phrase follows the first, and the third phrase is always a change, always a drama, and then at the end you close it. So you find this poetic structure in Chinese poetry very close to Chopin's music. The color, not only sensitivity, but the color of in Chinese literature and poetry and in painting, it's very close with Chopin's texture. I guess that's just natural to me.